Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Little Wins podcast, season two. Let's talk about it. I'm so excited about this. Today, we are talking adaptive clothing with the one, the only, Derek Flores of Zappos Adaptive. You are one that wears many hats. Am I right?
Yes, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Styling as well as merchandising, and I'm going down the whole list. You do all the things.
I definitely have that's kind of the thing about Zappos. If you're really passionate about something, no one's going to really stop you from doing it, and especially if it's moving the company forward. So, with that being said, a lot of the team, the Zappos Adaptive team, each of us wear a ton of hats, because there's only four of us, so we're kind of like running the whole show, and each of us have just a huge chunk of the business that we're working on. So I do all kinds of stuff though, lots of creative, lots of website stuff, lots of analytics, then the styling for any of our fashion shows, any of the photo shoots we do. But yeah, all kinds of stuff. It's fun though.
Derek, thanks so much for being here today. Thanks for sitting down and chatting with me. I am a huge fan of yours, and I've also like stalked you down basically.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, no, I'm really grateful to be here as well, and especially just kind of getting to understand a little bit more about what you do and your journey, and it's it's really awesome for me to be a guest here today. So thank you.
It's an honor and a pleasure. We team up. That's what we do here.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly. And we're good at
Okay.
that. We're good at teamwork.
We are. We're the best at that. So I just read that you're a Colorado native. What?
Yep,
Hi. Same.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know. That's why when you mentioned when you were speaking about Greeley, I was like, oh, Greeley, Colorado, because I stayed in Fort Collins for a long time, and Greeley's right down the road. So, but yeah, from Colorado, go Broncos, go Nuggets.
Yeah, go Broncos, go Nuggets.
Ugh,
Oh, no wonder I love you so much and we get along so well. It's the Colorado in us.
yeah.
God, do you miss it? I miss it.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, I lived in the desert after living in Colorado for most of my life, so I got used to not having seasons, and it being hot. So I don't know if I ever missed it. I missed the weather, I guess. Yeah, and being able to go to like a sporting event, that was always
Mhm.
fun.
The
But
people are pretty cool too. I feel like they're very,
it's very
yeah.
very chill.
I'm doing a thing with my arms that's like just very chill. Yeah. Even keeled. So,
Um,
okay. So now you're in Tennessee, right?
yep. Yeah, I live in Tennessee now. Why not? The whole COVID really changed some things up for a lot of people, and
Mhm.
uh, for myself as well and my wife. Yeah, we moved out to the Nashville area a few months back in March of this year, and so far so good. I've still working tirelessly on Zappos Adaptive from my home office now, instead of
Mhm.
going into the office there in downtown Las Vegas. So yeah, I like it though. Now I have seasons again, just like in Colorado. It's a
Mhm.
little more humid here, but the leaves are starting to change, and that's something I haven't seen in maybe a while.
It's pretty cool, right? So,
Yeah,
for those who don't know, I want to touch on a lot of things. I feel like we always, you and I talk about adaptive clothing and how I myself wear adaptive clothing. And
yeah,
there's this whole, I think, a little bit of a misunderstanding that adaptive clothing is for a specific group of people when that's not entirely true. So first, I'd like to, because I don't really know the full story of how did you get here
yeah,
to this position? And I know you have what 15 years in fashion
yeah.
prior to
Mm,
tell the people.
Oh yeah, sure. So yeah, I am where I'm at now because after I graduated college in Colorado, I moved to Las Vegas to teach, to be a teacher. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. Fortunately, it didn't work out because now I'm here. But I moved out to Las Vegas to be a teacher, and that didn't work out. There was some funding issues, et cetera, et cetera. So I started bouncing around doing some things, and luckily, I ended up at Zappos into beginning of end of 2007, 2008. Started just answering calls for our customer loyalty team. And that was something that I had known about Zappos just because I knew that their customer service was like the best. You always, if you needed something, for a wedding this weekend, you needed shoes. Like I had buddies, and I don't think I had ever purchased anything, but I had known people that had, and I was like, well, it's here in Las Vegas. My roommate has a job there. I need a job because the global financial crisis just happened, and I was doing some financing stuff. So I started working at Zappos in 2008 and worked for the world famous customer loyalty team, and then moved into writing descriptions and being a content coordinator for a bunch of different categories, from men's and women's fashion to performance, streetwear, et cetera. And then I moved over to the buying side and have been doing buying up until about 6 months ago. I used to do all of the denim. I led the denim team for a while, and the men's fashion team and men's classic, like your Tommy Bahama. So big apparel guy. And I got into apparel, and why I'm super passionate about it. When I was in college, a friend of mine and I started a clothing company and had a few other friends join us, and did all right. We got to show at Magic a couple times.
Wait, hold on. You had a clothing company? Hello.
Yeah.
Can you tell me this?
Oh yeah. I'm sometimes a little too humble, I guess. But yeah, so I when I was probably like 2003, started a clothing company with my buddy called Genetic Gear. And you'll notice like all my social handles have that name in it, just because that was what I started naming, we got Twitter however many years ago, whatever. But yeah, so we started Genetic Gear, and it was really kind of based on apparel for people that were breakdancers or DJs. It was really kind of ingrained in like hip hop culture and graffiti and MCing. And we really, we would put on like breakdancing battles and, just different events. It was really, really cool. Learned a lot.
Fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah. Learned a whole heck of a lot about apparel. And I knew it was like in the back of my head, as I was kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do when I grew up, whatever, however you want to say it. So,
right.
In getting the job at Zappos after Genetic had to fold, that was kind of like a goal of mine, I guess. We have life coaches at Zappos, and my first sit down with the life coach, Dr. Vic, I told him, I was like, I see opportunity. Maybe I didn't put it this way, but this is how I would put it now. But I basically told him I see opportunity for apparel on the website. And then from then on, I just kept trying to work to that goal, to be on the team that worked specifically on apparel for Zappos. And luckily had some great people, kind of mentor me, and learned a whole heck of a lot. And now I'm not buying anymore per se, but I'm still merchandising a lot of the different the ways that the website looks. But I think, do you know how Zappos Adaptive? Like that's kind of an interesting.
I do, and I want you to tell that story. I know it, and I think it's very interesting. I just have to touch on two things really quickly.
Oh, sure.
Zappos has life coaches.
Yeah,
it's important. Can I talk to? Did you say Dr. Vic?
Oh, unfortunately, Dr. Vic is no longer there.
Oh, man, Vic, if you're out there,
he's a good dude. But yeah, he was really. It was just really cool to be able to talk and talk to somebody and not have them. Not that anybody in any of my past jobs would be like, "What are you talking about? You're not going to do that," But it was just really kind of reassuring that, the way that, and kind of the little background that I had in apparel, kind of clicked with him. It's like, you should work on that. Why don't you see if you can shadow? Why don't you see if you can, go and see. What if there's ancillary positions that might be able to assist on, the apparel side of things? You should look into it. So I just kept following that. And
way to go, Zappos. What an awesome resource to have available to your people. I love to heir that.
We've had, multiple life coaches over the years that have been at the company. It's always really cool. They had like their office, and you could go in, and it was almost like it was like a real coaching, like in an office, closed door. We don't have a lot of offices at Zappos. Like that's one thing on our campus. Like nobody has their own office except for like a couple of the lawyers and the life coach. So it's
It's
like
a safe place. Yeah,
it's a safe place that you can be vulnerable,
yeah,
and they have your best interests at heart. One of our, yeah.
that's rad. I love that. I wish everyone had that. That's super cool. I also wanted to say you work really closely with your vendors, don't you? I feel like
Yeah.
that's something you're doing now still.
Yes and no. I mean, it's a little bit different, but I mean, just traditionally, having so Zappos, I mentioned this earlier, like they've been, just like super laser focused on just the best customer service, like the best customer service experience for our customers. So when I was in merchandising, I kind of took that to, um, really mean that my customers are my vendors. So I want to make our vendors say, wow, I want to really, work for the betterment of these brands that I'm bringing onto the website, and doing everything I can to push them, in outside of the box ways, or, really focusing on, we have to get this marketing done, or really just, just being a vocal advocate for my brands, throughout my career at Zappos. So just trying to deliver wow through service that our customer loyalty team delivers to our customers every day. I'm doing the same thing specific to our vendors, or anybody in the community, any partners or whoever that I may be working with.
Well, and I feel that as someone who talks and works with you in just ideating different things, but I think we kind of just both have the same passion for an excitement for so many different things that we could be doing at any given moment. And you definitely connect with your vendors from what I've seen and heard, and anyone you work with through that same passion. It's really special. I think it's unique to this industry. I don't know I could say that about every industry. I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah. And that's, I think, what, when Zappos, just the Zappos story in itself,
Yeah.
when they
Now hit it with the Zappos story.
Well, because I mean, you had to, like, specifically with our vendors, when Zappos was coming up, people didn't feel that ordering. I mean, now, I mean, you look at it now, like, you can't imagine not being able to order stuff on the internet and getting it. But back in 1999, 2000, when Zappos was born, none of the brands wanted to really work with us because we didn't have a brick and mortar, right? We didn't. This is a fly by night thing. It's not gonna pan out. So, the original merchants at Zappos, they went above and beyond to try to wow those vendors and say, no, we are different, but we're the same. Like, you can trust us to make sure that the integrity of your brand is in line, and, just really going above and beyond, like, paying for dinners at a vendor dinner. Like, that was something that really nobody did. It was always up to the brand to woo the buyer. And we kind of flipped that on its head and said, no, we're going to buy dinner now. Like, you don't have to worry about that. And it was like this big thing, however long ago. So yeah, just really taking that kind of same mantra that I learned when I was first starting at Zappos, and just really pushing that, to ensure that anybody that I deal with, is wowed.
Yeah, or feels just seen and like a part of the team and a person. I think especially the larger companies, from my background in fashion, you don't even know who's running the show. They don't know you. It's really cool. I think Zappos has a reputation for it feels almost like a family. That's what it looks like from my vantage point. You guys seem like a family. And maybe, especially when you go back to when Zappos got started, and what you said about how there were just so few similar companies.
Yeah.
And paving that way, that ain't easy.
Yeah. And like that whole, you think about the cool culture, right? Like culture within companies, especially, e-com, not necessarily e-com, but like more internet and like technology companies that are kind of on the forefront of changing up whatever industry they're in, and Zappos, the rattled cages with free shipping, and rattled cages with free returns and
customer service and all of that. Yeah.
And okay, well, if you have a year to return this shoe or this pair of jeans or whatever it is, and even if you go over that, that's okay. They'll probably make an exception for that one time that you forgot and you waited over a year to want to return, the dress that you got for your cousin's wedding you didn't go to.
Which is
Very specific.
bananas. How does that work? How can that be profitable? Right? Like, I wouldn't that be just a huge loss? Maybe I'm completely ignorant to the situation, but that that really blows my mind.
Yeah. Well, and there's things that are put in place. It's a very organic conversation too. I like how we're going into like size.
I know we're all over the place. But aren't we always though? Yesterday we talked for how many hours? We were burning candles. Safe.
Yeah, that was good. Where's my crystals at? Yeah.
Oh, I have my crystals. Yeah, I brought the crystals. Yeah, it's just interesting to me. And I'm obviously not here for like your numbers and financials and any of that. I'm here for
no. I would never tell you any of that.
No. I'm here for your story, your personal story, because it's fascinating. I think more people need to know about Zappos in general, but Zappos adaptive and adaptive clothing. And I want all of that.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, one of the things, like one of Zappos core values and one that I think really kind of applies to like the Zappos adaptive team is be adventurous, creative, and open-minded. Mm-hmm. Right. So with kind of starting Zappos adaptive, and that was all based on, I was talking earlier about our customer loyalty team, that our call center is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We only close maybe like Christmas and like when we do our big, like all hands meetings. And everybody, whether you're the new, big, leadership position, or you're, just a customer service person, everybody goes through the same training is what I'm trying to get to. So whether you're the buyer for the kids team or you're the chief financial officer, you're going to go through the training so that you can talk to customers, hear how we are, the service that we provide. So it gets everybody, the opportunity to experience, basically the backbone of Zappos, which is the customer service. So everybody gets on the phone, and hey, thanks for calling Zappos. This is Derek. How can I help you? And you walk through and, oh, you need to find a pair of shoes. Well, let me see how I can help you. And for the Zappos adaptive story, it's a really interesting because that's exactly what happened. Someone was going through their training and ended up taking a call from a customer who was looking for a particular pair of shoes. She had gotten the wrong size shoes for her grandson and, wanted to try to remedy that because her grandson unfortunately couldn't do laces. Mm-hmm. And he was at that time, that position where a lot of the shoes, if you size up from like a little kid to a big kid, shoes going to look the same, but they're going to change it. Maybe they take away the hook and loop closure on the big kid shoe. And that's kind of what happened with this customer. And Tanya wasn't, we couldn't find what she was looking for. She was, leaning on Saul, who took this phone call, a friend of mine in finance who's on the Zappos adaptive team in a kind of advisor role. And he couldn't find anything either. He went and looked this, that, like there was nothing really that could work for Tanya. So that bummed him out, because if you can't like qualify a customer on when you're doing that, like when you're answering phone calls, it's a bummer. So it stuck with call, and that lasting impression was where I come in and some of the other folks on the team. And like why I think, Zappos is so unique in the retail space is because the culture, the ability to, the way that Zappos is with their culture, it allows for experimentation. It allows for someone to say, hey, I have this idea. I think it can really move the company forward. What do you think? And because we were able to, he did a bunch of research and learning and, talking to people and talking to parents with, families with people with disabilities, and kind of understood like, this is not only is this the right thing to do, but there's a huge opportunity in clothing and footwear to provide something that's going to help make it easier for people to get dressed.
Yeah. There's a huge hole in this whole market right there, like right then, right there when that happened. There just wasn't a lot out there. And what was out there they're startups, and it's not always easy to find them. So I think
Yeah.
what's so fascinating to me about you and your team and this all of Zappos Adaptive, it almost takes me back to, remember when we were talking about yesterday about working in the service industry, and
Yeah.
how I was a dishwasher at Red Robin, and how important it is to, much like the training at Zappos, go
That
through all the
experience.
positions,
Yeah.
know what it's like to be the dishwasher. I'm doing air quotes, the dishwasher of every company, the person that
Yeah.
answers the phone, the person who takes out the trash. And know, and that way you understand each other. I think you learn so much personally, but also just about life. And then when you take a call, like, did you say Sal took the call?
Saul. Yeah. Saul.
Saul.
Yeah.
Sorry. You know, I don't know if it would have hit the same if he didn't, maybe he sounds like a gem of a human, but for any other
Well, that's the
person,
thing.
your
Anybody in the call
culture.
center
Yeah.
could have potentially done that, because there's no call times. You don't have, all right, Lexus, there's a lot of places. All right, you got, 2 minutes with this customer, and got to turn it. Like, that's not something that, there's not, and
Mm-hmm.
there's not specifically anybody walking around saying, tapping people on the shoulder, like, hey, hurry that call up.
Mm-hmm.
There's one time, don't quote me on this.
No, I'm not going
And it's, oh gosh, I'll have to look, but there's like records. There's like records of times. Like, it was like 16 hours. I don't know what it is now. It's been a while that I did one of the tours where we talked about it. But yeah, there's, you know, 16 hours. They didn't even buy anything, but that's okay. Because that personal emotional connection that customer loyalty
to.
team member made with that customer might tell their friend. They might tell, their family that, hey, I just had the best experience with Zappos. Like, you guys should check it out. They have all kinds of stuff. And like,
Yeah,
just
they do.
that kind of empowerment that, the people that work at Zappos have, like, allows for that. It allows for this, because they're not upselling. They're not saying, oh, you should buy this, buy
Right.
that. It's just like, we really just want to help you find what you're looking for. And if we can't find it, let's find it on another website.
Mhm.
Let's find it in a store in your town. Like, they'll go, we go that far to really make sure a customer's happy when we hang up with them.
Well, and you also have created that culture for your team. It sounds like you all have, that was something that started trending, probably around 2008. Like, what's the culture of your company? And,
Yeah.
what do you want to, well, you guys kind of paved the way for that, especially in a retail space. That's why I really wanted to also talk about Zappos, because those who don't know, what an incredible company. And you do have everything, and you do take returns for forever, and you have people who will answer the phone and they'll just talk about your day if you want to.
I mean, it's fun.
You're a rare breed. And also, you in particular, with all of your vast knowledge in so many different things, in all what designer, teacher, going from teacher to designing your own line to just clothing merchandiser and content coordinator. That ain't easy. Whew.
Yeah, it's
Now you're talking about analytics and
yeah. Zappos has afforded me the opportunity to learn so many different skill sets. And there's like a very robust training program that teaches. There's tons and tons of classes to be able to, I want to learn about how to be a content coordinator, but I don't know where to start. Well, hey, there's a class for that. You can learn and see if it may be something that interests you. So if that job opens up, within the organization, you can apply for it. And one thing too that myself, there's a bunch of folks. Zappos is good at like nurturing those people that want to do more, that have these ideas, that want to really kind of learn everything that there is to learn, and they're going to push that's okay. Like, if you leave your position to go somewhere else, and I've done that a few different times, and everybody's always very supportive, and the training that's provided is like I said, very robust, so you feel like you're kind of prepared when you go into a new position. But yeah, no, it's been an awesome, and just beginning with what we got going on here at Zappos Adaptive. But yeah, no, I'm always telling I'm very grateful for the opportunity, especially coming when I first started at Zappos, coming out of the global financial crisis. It was really scary. I was like, am I
Yeah.
going to have to move back to Colorado? Like, I really
Yeah.
don't want to, no offense, Colorado, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to
Yep.
kind of continue paving my own way. And fortunately, I was able to get on however many years ago, but yeah.
Well, I just was saying that you have all this vast background and you are a really impressive individual, all the things that you do and what you have done and all the things I know you're gonna take it, all the ways you're gonna take it. And it's super exciting. But typically for someone like me who has a tech startup, when I try to connect with individuals in a similar position as you,
Right.
sometimes it's extremely difficult. And usually I'm like, hey man, I'm just trying to just coming to you with an opportunity, or I thought we could work together on this. I'm not actually asking for anything. But it can be very hard to get through to the right person. Even talking about your call centers, I can't tell you how many companies, like anybody out there, feel like sometimes you're like, where's the number for Comcast? Yeah, I'm throwing that out there. Comcast needs to hear that. But like, how do like customer service in general? But I reached out to you and you return the phone call, and now we work together. We have ideas together and can share knowledge, and
Yeah.
that moves the needle so much further in the progress of the things that we're trying to accomplish here,
Yeah.
you
No,
know.
I agree. And that's another kind of goes back to just kind of our learnings and, you know, shout out to my buddy, Matt Thomas, who, we created a class years ago around how, you keep those lines of communication open when people reach out, how you give everybody that opportunity to kind of tell you what they're doing. And if it makes sense, then let's have a deeper conversation. But,
Mm-hmm.
just always being, always just trying to be respectful and,
Willingness
understanding.
to learn. It's a
Yeah.
willingness to like,
Yeah, like because I don't know what happens if I don't have a conversation with someone that LinkedIn sends me a LinkedIn message or emails me or whatever. That may be something that can really move the needle for us, or they may know somebody, and
mm-hmm.
and if you don't at least engage, then you might miss that opportunity. So I'm
Yeah.
always a proponent of just hearing everybody out, kind of understanding what they're doing, and if there's any way to kind of pair back to what Zappos or Zappos Adaptive is doing, let's see how we can do something.
Yeah, well, I find that a little rare. It's not as common as you would think. So those who do that, more power to you. I think there's not a lot to lose in just having a conversation. And sometimes what if the thing you gain is that you helped another person, like
Yeah.
Saul in this conversation with the woman and the shoes, and the whole reason behind Zappos Adaptive, taking that call and listening and giving your compassion and understanding and willingness to improve. Like,
Yeah.
how can we help? So we
Yeah.
don't have this. Yeah, you're right. We don't have this.
We don't.
So let's get together,
Yeah.
guys. What can we do? And that's so how did that happen?
Well, after Saul kind of determined that, hey, there's a big gap in the market, for people with disabilities, like how can Zappos kind of fill that? How can we take that service, that customer service that people know and love about Zappos, and show underserved market that, hey, we're here.
Mm-hmm.
We may have some products that might work for your dressing needs. Let's figure that out. So I mean, as I mentioned earlier, at Zappos, if you're passionate about something and it's going to move the business forward, you're not going to get told no a lot of the times. And it's, I'm an example of that. The people on my team, if you do leave your position a lot of the times, if you have this great idea, like, okay, cool, well, you showed us that this makes sense, now go do it, kind of a thing. And there's been tons of people throughout that I've seen throughout my time at Zappos that have done that, and I was lucky enough to be able to do that as well. And when Saul started doing the research on, okay, what does this look like? Let's build an analytical case for why this is an opportunity that Zappos should be a part of. We knew that we could focus on serving the needs of our customers because that's what we already do. We can then, the way that our website is set up and our product pages, the Zoom feature, all of the description, like all of the details that we provide, that's going to be able to focus on serving the needs of the customer, because they're going to see, oh, well, I need, hook and loop closure. I'm not looking for shoelaces, so how can we harness what we already have to kind of, put that to those customers that are looking for that. So we can showcase those features that the customers are looking for in a way that, with our Zoom features, with the product videos. But we also want to know, what are some of the things that we were missing? There's a lot of stuff that since Zappos Adaptive has been around, we've been able to get new product types, new footwear types. So we had to understand like what products the community wanted. So we started really leaning on like surveys and just listening to the folks, that if we could provide a service, what could we do that would make it easier for them? And just really kind of know that we are strong in customer service. We're strong in assortment. So let's apply that to, if we're going to do this Zappos Adaptive or whatever we were calling it back then, like let's really, just know that we have some really awesome strengths and we should lean on those. We should lean on that customer service. We should lean on our assortment of product that we have and the relationships we have with our vendors.
And lean on this environment that you have created that clearly cultivates openness and imagination. Like the environment alone that you're describing, I think just paves the way and makes it possible for individuals to say, hey, and feel comfortable. I mean, life coaches and talking. There's so much, what I'm hearing is like people are openly talking. And then you feel comfortable enough to say, hey, I think we might need to explore this a little bit further. And then somebody listens. And that's how you get to be Zappos Adaptive, which is a really big deal.
Yeah. And taking all of that information and, like one of the big things I think too is we've always said that Zappos is a service company. We're not a retailer. We are a service company that just happens to sell whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So why not take that philosophy that we already have ingrained in us, because all we're doing is we're displaying products, whatever it is, and we're making sure that the customer has all the information that they need and the support from, live chat to email, phone. You can text now. There's all kinds of stuff to ways to get a hold of our customer loyalty team. But, we're just another something, right? Zappos is a service company that just happens to sell shoes and clothing and maybe adaptive products and handbags and accessories, et cetera, et cetera.
With care. You happen to do those things with care for the individual. From my perspective. I mean, you don't have to say that, but that's been my experience with Zappos, and that makes you unique, I think.
Yeah. And it goes back to the core values and the people that want to be the people that want to work there. Like it's a really,
you're
awesome
super
place.
Cool. Yeah.
And, I'm very humbled by it, because I'm thinking, that kid from Pueblo, who almost had to go back there.
Same dude. I'm that girl, dishwasher from Red Robin, but like,
man, I really don't want to go and work in a kitchen again.
Don't want to do. I mean, was grateful.
No offense.
Grateful for that experience. We were talking about it, the power washer and leaving with everybody's food all over you. But like, you need that. You need to know every single aspect of service and serving others. I think it's imperative to everyone's growth, truly, in any field you're in, just your life growth, but way to apply it here. So in with what I was looking at on Zappos Adaptive yesterday too, when we were talking, there's a lot of really cool products. Would you like to list a few, or shall I? I think you should.
Okay. So, the way that we've kind of pulled products together is twofold, right? So as I mentioned earlier, Zappos has a lot of products that may work for someone's dressing need, but there's a lot of products. So what can we do on our side to kind of curate that, right? So if you need to look you need a particular shoe on Zappos Adaptive now, you can go and find, I want Easy On, or I need orthotic friendly, or I need diabetic, and AFO, like all of it's in one spot. And that's kind of what we learned. We so relied on feedback from the community to kind of shape not only just the way, like the different products, but like the authenticity. We just listen, like, how can we make changes that are going to better the experience, not for our customer base, but for us too. Like, how can we make this better, and how can we be more efficient in curating product and doing this? So it's just leaning on the feedback to be able to say, oh, it's so hard, but at the same time,
it's the best way to go. But for me, I love that you say that, because in this company, I had so many places I wanted to take it. I was so excited. I mapped it all out, but had started off by listening to, this particular incredible group of people who told me everything about
what is it that you need,
and so I started there, and then after that I was like, okay, so this is what I'd like to do for it. But no, that's not the right way. So when, thank you to anyone who's listening, who takes my survey, who takes Zappos survey. We are listening to your feedback and the updates we make and the choices that we make. Ultimately, I swear on my soul, this new update to my website, every single thing was driven by our user feedback.
That's like so ingrained in us too. Like, we wouldn't have, we had to listen, and
it's the best way to go.
The feedback, like you just said, it kind of allowed us to do what we're doing because it's authentic, right? Like we're doing this because we're listening, and we want to make that difference. We want people to feel comfortable when they're shopping, to be able to find those particular features that they're looking for easily, and not have to scroll through.
I'm sure everybody has time.
A favorite website, and it could be a pain in the butt. So how can we make that easier for you? And we knew that there's something here, and listening to the community is the step in the right direction. So let's do it, and let's model our website after what people are looking for. And that's kind of how we did it. And you're talking about the different products. I mean, that has allowed us, listening to the community has allowed us to work with great brands that saw what Zappos Adaptive was doing and said they want to be a part of it. How can we do this?
My favorites.
And
Smart Adaptive. Nancy's been on the show. I wear those shirts. I wear those shirts. Do you know how cute they are?
No. Oh my God. We just did an amazing photo shoot in New York last month that we featured Smart Adaptive, a bunch of our brands.
I literally wear them all the time. They fit so nicely. It's like
very flattering.
Fit. Yeah.
The fit is, the pin tucking, kind of
friendly shoes. They've been on the show, and we're not just like plugging people here. I wear those shoes, and so does my daughter.
Oh, where's my? I was like, wow, I was just wearing.
Did you see their new line? Okay. So, anyways,
So like all of these folks, right? Like, so we definitely knew that we have our work cut out for us.
Yes, we do.
But let's get to work. Let's listen. Let's go out. And that was kind of my sole responsibility, was to find some of these innovative products. And I was banging on Tommy Hilfiger's door, and a bunch of other brands. It was we were able to make it work.
Yeah.
But they kind of, I felt like it was when I was pitching clothing brands that were hesitant to sell on Zappos years ago. Right. And it just kind of kept, just making sure that nurturing the relationship and letting them know that we're coming from the right place.
Yes.
We are definitely, we want to feature this product because we know it's going to make a difference for the customers that are coming here.
Yes,
so
because it's
how do
real
we
reasons, driven by a
yeah
real passion for change and for progress and for the people. And
exactly
people can sense that, right? When you're banging
yeah
down doors,
and it wasn't just like the established brands, right? Like those guys. I mean, there's so many other startups and folks that are like, well, there's this personal connection with the reason, like why they're doing it, why they're bringing this product to market. So really, working with a lot of those folks and saying, oh, well, that your story is just so amazing that you stopped what you were doing in your career to build this product that because of someone close to you that needed it.
Right.
And there's just countless times that's come up. So just really, yeah. And a lot of it did come from feedback, like, well, this brand, I didn't even know this was a brand. Thank you, someone, for emailing us and letting us know that you'd want to see this on the website. Let's check it out. So we just, I mean,
powered by the people.
The authenticity and the feedback that we apply is something that I'm very, very proud of. Being on, working specifically with Zappos Adaptive, because of that, it's real. And not that anything else on the site is not, because basically anybody that was in my position prior to Zappos Adaptive could have come in and probably, like, Zappos really takes thorough care and vetting people to start. So fortunately I was asked to join, but really I think that anybody could kind of step in and see the impact that they could make, and they already have been making an impact at Zappos and whatever category they may be buying for or whatever department they're in.
But for our community,
yeah,
like the reason you and I, just like when we talk, we just are like, yeah, it's just so easy because we see completely eye to eye, and we see how exciting it is to make somebody's day. And those shoes that, forget the laces, okay? Let's like all those things. And to create ease and access and user experience, and for everybody to feel seen and to be understood, like we were talking about, and not just in a basic way, in a the places we could go kind of way, and how much fun we'll have doing it. And you and I really jive on that. I just want to know, did you have for me, I have a child with a disability, which is really what opened my eyes big time to what did you call it? You put it better, so much more delicately than I think. What? You said gap in the market, where I said hole.
Yeah, there's a gap in the market.
It brought my attention to that, and needed to find a solution in my way. What is your reason?
I guess disability has always been a part of my life from when I was a child, not because of any like a family member or anything, but just both my parents, they were psychiatric technicians, so they worked, and worked in for the state of Colorado with people that have Down syndrome and other disabilities. So growing up, going skiing with some of their patients,
programs,
and like just that being something from when I was as small as I can remember until I graduated high school. That's what my parents did. So that was always there, and it was fine, right? There wasn't the stigma that I think is there. And that was always there, just in the back of my head. And a few years ago, it's probably like a lot longer, like 8 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever.
Time is hard to keep.
Time is hard.
Time is weird.
But I had the opportunity to help a person kind of create a nonprofit specific for petitioning the Special Olympics, or in adding grappling and like judo or jiu-jitsu.
Good for you. I want to know more on that, more information.
Shout out to my buddy Garrett. It was his birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Garrett.
Happy birthday, Garrett, you hero. That sounds awesome.
So yeah, also another thing I did, yeah. So we partnered with a bunch of different with the UFC. I think I can say that since we're the official apparel retailer for the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Um,
Nice. Well,
as of right now. So yeah,
nice.
but working with Garrett and his dad Mitch, who are awesome, and some my brother fortunately was able to partner with me on this, and some other folks. So that was there, and I think maybe that just gave me more perspective from what I had remembered from when I was a kid. And for Garrett, it was just something, I'm passionate about, mixed martial arts and that kind of stuff, and just wanting to help him. And it was really cool. It's still there. Like Garrett's now kind of moved from, petitioning the Special Olympics and doing that whole part of the nonprofit to, teaching classes, getting money to be able to have, classes for other people with disabilities, and Garrett showing them how to appropriately do the different workout techniques. If they're doing
how do I find this? I want to see that. How do I go there?
I think you might be able to go to garrettsfight.org and kind of check out what G's doing right now. But his story is just awesome. Garrett is such a good dude, and he's my favorite mixed martial artist fighter. But he definitely used, jujitsu and CrossFit and everything to really get healthy, and give him confidence. And
the confidence within from a foundational standpoint, that's the thing that I think people lose sometimes. Like confidence is not always in just you're doing great, but the foundation for confidence to grow and leading by example. I am looking into this. I can't wait.
Oh yeah, there's they bunch of stories on him. He's just such a good dude. So that's still to this day, he's still in Florida working with people with disabilities, and showing them, helping them try to build that confidence that he was looking for and didn't find until he found jujitsu and but yeah, so that was
interesting.
Well, little tangent there about but
I
think it's important.
I think it's important, and I think somebody out there needs to hear that, and that is the whole, this, I've told you this, that's the whole point of this podcast, is that it's going to get to the people who need to hear it. And within it, maybe they'll be on a path to teaching, and then all of a sudden be like, you know what, I really, or not want to go back home to Denver, gotta pivot, these life stories, my life story, everyone's life story can be helpful to anyone who's listening. And I truly believe it gets into the right hands, and maybe someone needs to know about your friend G Money. Sure. Happy birthday. But that's your reason. That's what that's how you got here.
That is a very important piece of my journey, here.
What's your favorite part? What's your favorite part of what you do?
I would say probably, so we work really closely with a foundation called Runway of Dreams, and they're in the similar kind of boat that Garrett was in petitioning Special Olympics. Well, they're really fighting for inclusion in fashion, and
they're crushing it. By the way, I follow them. I watch the fashion. Love it.
Yeah, shout out to Mindy Shire,
who's Mindy. I don't know her, but well done.
Amazing woman. She's awesome, and her personal connection to disability with her son Oliver, and really kind of rattling cages in New York with these different fashion brands to say, hey, you should do something, and people listened. And for me, working with them allows me to mentor college students that are in design programs, or through these different college clubs that Runway of Dreams has set up throughout the country. So I work with students to educate them about the different ways that you can design something. If it's a design student, I love talking to them about how these slight changes on a piece of apparel or a pair of footwear can go go so much further,
So
right?
much further. And
So
it,
if we're able,
like you said,
yeah,
it's a slight change. It's like yesterday we invented like three things just on our like, hey, catch up call, right?
yeah,
We're like, it's so much fun. And it's not even a big change. It's like
just
if
a
you
little thing.
just a teeny tiny little thing, but if you put yourself in um almost like going from a dishwasher on up. It's like walking in someone else's shoes
Yeah,
and understanding what that experience is like. You can easily take a look at like, I can't tell the people what we invented yesterday. But like looking at one thing and being like,
yeah.
this is rad. You know what would be cooler? It's like,
Yeah, and that's the
oh,
thing. Like if you do this, like you open
yeah.
up that product to like how many more people can
Oh,
use it?
honestly, and it is the most delightful, most exciting thing, because if we're going to be here, if we're going to do this thing, and we are so fortunate to be able to be, in these, like, alive, but in these positions that we're in, and to have met each other and the network of people we're building, the army that we're building, really,
Oh
of
yeah,
people who are super into innovation and change in beautiful, incredible ways. Boy, I'm humbled and delighted and thrilled to be here. Right?
oh yeah, no, it's
It's
awesome. And
it's a gift. Yeah. It's gonna be so much fun. But I want someone out there to hear that, like you're saying, if you're going to design school, know that there's a lot that needs to be updated within a lot of different fields and categories. So don't
yeah,
just think it has to be, you know, the typical definition of fashion. I think I'm just using that because of my fashion background. And maybe my takeaways from this conversation are truly that, from your experience, and much like your approach to life with openness and willingness to flow and just take those conversations, take what resonates, and
mm,
and pivot from there and become someone in adaptive clothing, something so important,
yeah,
something so overlooked for so long.
no,
And
agreed.
the much like the culture of your company, creating that ability to be creative and open. And when you say, if you have an idea, you might change positions. They're like, cool, do it. Love
Like,
it. That's
well,
great.
go on,
Yeah,
then
hit
do
it,
it. Yeah,
brother. Yeah, go. Yeah. I
these
love
numbers look
that.
great. Like, figure it out.
Let's
Like, and
go.
that's yeah. So that's yeah, it's a like I said, it's super rewarding, and being able to kind of plant that seed, and maybe someone that is going to be a designer someday, they're going to school for that or whatever. Like if you just that's kind of it's something super awesome to me. Like I mentioned, I wanted to be a teacher, so being able to kind of apply some of those skills,
Yeah.
that I have to influence the future designers these that are coming out of these different schools that I'm fortunate enough to work with. That's very rewarding, and just kind of I'm really into styling, love doing that, and kind of understanding what people's dressing needs are based on
Mhm.
their body types. And
Yep.
shout out to one of my mentors, Stephanie Thomas from Curatable, who has taught me so much about just styling specifically for disability, and
Mhm.
um,
Can you
has
explain
really
on
showed
that
me the
for
way.
those who don't know what that means? Like for me, when I say blanket statements, and should have expanded before, but I'm not like classically trained as a podcast host. But when I say I wear smart adaptive shirts, and I love the fit, so they have Velcro as a closure. Well, that's rad for me. I love that. It's easy.
Super easy.
Super easy. I love the fit of it, truly. Does it fall under that category? Yeah, but does it fall under the category of what I want to wear too? Yes. And I would love for you to piggyback on that, because I think like we both have friendly shoes. We both have adaptive shoes.
Yeah, I think it's, what my, what the goal is. When I always say this, about Zappos Adaptive is, I hope, maybe in 5 years or sooner, that Zappos Adaptive isn't even a thing, because you can just go to Zappos and, the product that is specific to the feature you're looking for, anybody can wear it. And this whole concept of universal design, is something that we're really applying when we are working with brands, when we are talking with people, because at the end of the day, we were talking about the slight changes that somebody can make on a product that now opens that door for so many other people to utilize said product. Why not, you open that door, but you still have everybody else. So you're just making, your customer base is just growing. Because you're making this change. And now, because you design this universally, that whether you have a dressing need or not, you can wear this, similar to like a Friendly's or, some of the other products, anybody can wear it. And I think that's,
well, we need to just all just, how do we, maybe if we clap 3 times, we'll smash like the whatever, whatever people feel about, like you said, hopefully someday we won't have to call it adaptive, like the stigma around it.
But you have to start, you have to start somewhere though.
Maybe if we just go like, you do have to start somewhere, and you've crushed that. I'm just saying to anybody who's listening, I like my adaptive shoes because I'm a mom. I'm usually carrying a bajillion things. Can't even believe I have one hand to throw on my pair of shoes. So like, these rock for you too, folks. Like these things, look at them and understand that this isn't for, like, it's incredible to see the fashion, the fit, the design, and God, the passion behind these companies.
Oh yeah, no, that's something that's unparalleled. Like
unparalleled,
because that connection that they have to the product for whatever reason. That personal emotional connection they have because they saw someone that needed this, right? That someone that was close to them, or whatever the case may be. But it's really it's the where things should go, where things should move, right? And it should be more designed for everybody, and kind of taking that stigma away, because that's unfortunately that's how it is. And how can we kind of help move that along?
Well, we clapped 3 times
in the right direction.
We broke it. We shattered that. It's gone now. Goodbye. No more stigma. I'm dead serious, folks. I wear adaptive clothing not because I own a company and run this company and wear as many hats as you do within it, helpline, all the things. It's not because I have a child with a disability. I am grateful that it opened my eyes to seeing these other companies, like you said, with the passion behind it and the functionality, the thought. I wear these shoes because they're easier. Hello. And they're cute. And these shirts and these, I just want others to know it doesn't have to be specific to whatever you think it is. It's fashion. It's just, it falls under the umbrella of fashion. And like, it's awesome. There's so many incredible companies coming up in this particular, just in the retail space alone, that I love to watch it.
No, it's been an awesome journey. So yeah, I'm just really excited about what those opportunities can afford everybody. What that does to changing the status quo, to bringing these features to the forefront, and lots of having the brands that people know and want to wear, getting on board. We're only going up, I think. And I think this is
for sure. And that's why we do what we do, right?
Exactly.
That's why you and I stay up until like 4:00 in the morning looking at analytics and like little because it's super. I'm sorry, was that triggering?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
No, it's just what we do because it's not at all. because what else would we do? What else do we
Right.
want to do?
But what's really cool about that though is because of that, like there are other like, when other people that may not have any knowledge, or they just, they don't know much about this, like, especially within Zappos, and being able to educate folks, and oh my gosh, well, how can we work with you then? Different teams, right? I mentioned that, Zappos Adaptive is only, 4 people. Other people want to help as well within the organization, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're able to tell the stories, right? When you're able to, I listen to this podcast and I want to do more. That's always what opens the door, right? Whether it's people within Zappos that want to, hey, let's change the product page and show, let's get zoom in pictures of the features of this seated jean that you brought on. Let's, the photo studios, let's help you, run this photo shoot so that it's not on us. Like all of these people, once they hear the story, they're like, oh my gosh, there's something that I can do that can kind of help push this along because it's the right thing to do.
Oh, there's so many people needed, and whatever your natural skill set is, bring it, because it's needed absolutely everywhere. And that's what I was saying. I think my takeaways are your approach to everything, and combined your approach plus what Zappos has afforded everyone with open arms in the environment, and willingness to listen, and freedom to dream and imagine and innovate, with also that kind of like, then hit it, buddy. That's your idea. Go. You need that. And be authentic and bravely go out there. Boy, that's so much awesome. And I love it.
Yeah, no, like I'm very grateful to be here, to be able to work with, my amazing team and all of the different, support teams around the organization that really want, Zappos Adaptive obviously to be successful because of the impact that it's making. And I'm really proud to be a part of that, and just want to continue pushing the envelope, and, really working to the goal of not having Zappos Adaptive, I guess.
Yeah,
having
just being Zappos clothing. Yep. Just fashion. Is that how I said it? It's a terrible accent. Like that definitely made someone cringe, at least one. So if someone who is out there has a line of adaptive clothing, or a concept, or how could they get a hold, like how would they reach you, or your
the best way, probably, I mean, there's you can write into our customer loyalty team, but I would say through our social media channels would be the best way, whether it's on Facebook. If you're not following us on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter,
subscribe, please do. Follow.
Do that whole thing, because, we look at all those messages, and, the countless people that, hey, have you heard of this? Have you seen this? This is something that works for me, blah, blah, blah. Like people within
you want to hear that.
Like, so we're not going to get better if we don't know. Right. 100%. So
reach out. You have
reach out,
bring them on over.
And then you can email, if you're not on social media, you can email, Zappos Adaptive at zappos.com.
Okay.
And that goes to all of us, the folks that are on the team, and we can, that's another thing we reply to everybody. If they're, pitching a product, or, they just want to talk with us, whatever, we're always open to listen and having conversations, because of how we've approached, this when we started. That's why we're here where we are now, is because we have just, okay, let's take that time to have a conversation. Let's understand what this person, and, why they created this product, or why they're so passionate about it. And, maybe there is an opportunity for us to help. And if not, maybe we know someone that can.
That's the thing. That's what I was just going to say. And when the conversation went not great, it didn't break your spirit. It didn't change your perspective or your energy towards taking another call. Boy, do I know that feeling.
Yeah.
But that's why you and I always really drive, don't we? It's
I mean, it's, you never know. And those,
reach out, people.
Yeah. And if it's not us, then you know what, then maybe we know somebody, but let's at least get the lines of communication open, because there's things that everybody can benefit from.
Mhm.
So, and that just goes back to our, let's utilize what we're good at. Let's lean on what we're good at, which is customer service, which is, the communication we have with our customers or just people that we interact with.
Mhm.
And that ingrained, delivering wow,
Which is really
to whoever it is.
just being a human, which is really just being a human, conversation, eye contact, open lines and understanding, acceptance, and willingness to be vulnerable and excitement to learn and grow. Yeah, I love it all. And happy birthday, Garrett.
Yeah, happy belated birthday there, Big G Money.
Big G Money, and to Saul for taking the call.
And then and then let me just shout out my team too.
I want you to shout out everybody.
All the magic happened. Dana and Connie and Lori, the four of us, are a small but mighty team. And shout out to all the different support groups within the organization that are really, helping us be better, challenging us and working with us. And it's just an awesome experience. And that's because of the community that we're serving, but then also the people that believe in what we're doing within our organization.
And the people that have come together to do it. Boy, do I love us. We're a bunch of super freaks that have like such a passion and a drive, right? And are so thrilled to meet each other. We're always like, what can we do? What can we create? Yes, I love it.
Those are always, sparking something. Very rarely does a conversation not let's explore all opportunities. I'm always open. Our team, we just want to, we want to keep pushing the company forward, and a lot of the times that is, let's go through, we got this chat, in Facebook today. What can we do? We got this email. How can we address this? What can we do to qualify this person? Or maybe that's a brand that we can bring on, or maybe we can, if we can't do it, hey, we have friends,
we know someone who can.
Yeah. It's just always thinking higher level with everybody, because we may be the only person that they reached out to. Yes. Right. They may have seen something and, I have to. And, we want to, do our the right thing by answering those emails and those chats and all of that. And
always reach
listening
out.
To feedback.
Do it.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing that could happen?
I only want to talk, just because we keep talking about this feedback, and it just made me remember. Not made me remember. I work with it every day, but some things that Zappos has been able to do. So Zappos is always shaken up the industry. They've always kind of been forward thinking when it comes to how can we operate our business. And not only our ability to kind of maneuver as a company, but listening to that feedback, we were able to make a case for the singles and different size shoes program.
Oh my, I didn't know if I could bring it up. I didn't know what I could say and what I couldn't say. But yes, it actually is something that is important to, it affects me personally, my family, my kids, that was epic. And I talked to Friendly Shoes about that too. And the fact that, and they gave you all the credit in creating that ability to do so, because it's so important. And it's not just my family. There's a percentage. It's families. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's I think it's 60% of the world's population has 2 different size feet.
Yeah. Actually, so, more than that, right? Doesn't everybody have, I'm doing a
little bit.
Do you like the hand motion I'm doing for feet right now?
Those toes?
Why am I like this? It's actually very common, but especially in orthotics too. So you're crossing off a lot of
AFOs. I only have an AFO on my right foot, and that pushes me up 2 sizes.
Mm-hmm. Or I have 2 AFOs and one has a lift, so that pushes me up.
So I'm gonna need 2.5 sizes bigger. Yeah. So
that's
really. And again, feedback. Mm-hmm. Hey, everybody, is this something that interests you?
Tell me what you need.
Would you buy from us if we offer just one pair of, whatever shoe you're looking for, or two different sizes of that pair of shoes that you're looking for. And it was like the amount of customers and people that were interested in it, that filled out a survey, that wanted to make their voice heard, allowed us to kind of, again, rattle the cages, whatever you want to call it, because how do shoes come?
But that's what I mean by a phrase, exactly like I said a long time ago now, like powered by the people, we are fueled by the people. We are two companies, yours and mine, where we don't send you surveys or not listen to your feedback in info boxes just because we can't, or we don't have the time to, or whatever. We don't send you surveys for funsies. We're sending them because we are truly saying,
yeah, we want
tell us what you need.
And that's how we
got to bring that to the table.
Exactly. And like, what brands do you want? What's, what? Blah, 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 blah. Like all of these different questions that people wanted someone to listen. And
thank you for that feedback, but also open that, like, we got to crack that wide open too. People talk to us. Tell us what you need.
Yeah. We want to know.
Clearly doing that. And we can't wait to. And we're delighted for the feedback. Absolutely.
So, and that's, with that particular program, that feedback really kind of allowed us to say, hey, brand X, look at all of these folks that want you to be a part of this. Hey, brand Y, look at this. They're mentioning you by name. Like they want you to be a part of this. They love your shoes, but hate that they have to buy 2 pair of them in order to get the sizes that they need. So,
that felt good when you said that. I feel like I just exhaled something that I was holding on to from like years ago. Did you? I was like, yeah, no more buying 2 pairs of shoes just to get one pair that fits my daughter. Thank you.
Well, there you go. But yeah, so it was another huge undertaking. And again, the 4 of us couldn't have done it on our own. And we have to lean on where our fulfillment center is. We have to lean on, the back end teams to change, like I said. So, how many, one particular product in the footwear category is 2 pairs of shoes, and 1 box of shoes. That's one. Here it is. This is your product. So how do we break it apart? What do we do? How do we, figure that all out? And just all of these teams coming together because they knew, based on this feedback, this was going to be meaningful, and this is the something that Zappos should do. There's another thing. I think it was, I've been getting phone calls about, hey, do you guys do this? Do you sell 2 different shoes? Can I just buy 1 shoe? Since I started.
Totally.
Yeah. So that's not something that we did, we've been hearing this forever. And I think it was the right time to do it, because we had the data, we had the customers telling us that this is what they wanted to see, and it all came together. And now we have this program that has expanded from, 5, 6 brands to 13 to 14 now, and is continuing to expand as we open up different categories and, onboard new brands that, are niche and, whatever it is that their customer base. So, it's been that's something that has been very, very awesome to see, and the reaction from the community, from everybody, and we're just getting started with that too. So,
and from this mom, because I will tell you, it's super inspiring to be able to understand from so many different vantage points. Like I can see that that's probably much more expensive to do, right? Like what company wants to spend more or put, it's got to be harder, at least, like to have 2 pairs of shoes. There's a lot that goes into that, but to listen to that call and understand the need and not care at any point, as any company must truly make a decision.
Yeah.
Is this one the one that we keep the lights on with, or is this the one that we must do because we can?
Yeah.
Because we can. And it's important. And it doesn't, the other things, that doesn't matter right now. And I see that. And then the other perspective for me is that it works for my daughter. It changes her whole day.
So, and that's, just keeping at it, and like I said, this is just the beginning for a lot of the different things that we're doing, that not just Zappos Adaptive, but everybody that's within this space that's really trying to make a difference and really trying to provide products that may have been overlooked, provide features that may have been overlooked for some time, and just doing it in a way that is authentic and, just
rock and roll.
Listening, tell us, we thrive on feedback. We want to be better. We want to be better. We want to,
we're excited by the feedback.
Yeah. Like, I want to know, like, what are you seeing? I don't know.
Yeah. Unless you are one of those people that says like not nice things because whatever, but it's not productive, then don't send me that. But the ones like the one in every like 1,000 or whatever, where you're just like, what? Why? That's not nice. I want to hear from you. You want to hear from them. And then you and I and everybody else on this team that we have built together, of all the many different strengths that we bring to the table. Oh, the things we're going to do. And it's going to be so fun. And so, God, what a community that deserves all of it more than. And I think we can do it in a way that I hope we can make them smile.
That's all, that's just keep pushing.
Yep.
And, we're getting there. And I think it's all just a matter of time. So,
yeah.
But anyway,
I'm so delighted to have connected with you. You and I, like we were talking yesterday, we're just like, I don't know, we're just of the same tribe, I guess. I don't know how to describe.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, the amount of folks that I've met on this journey has been, it's so awesome, friends now, lifelong friends, and just people that really are kind of, they can think, they're thinking outside of the box and they want to do right by people. And it's been an awesome experience. And like I said, we're just getting started, and I can't wait to see, in a couple of years where we're at.
Me too.
But thank you for having me.
Oh my God, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your personal story, because that's fascinating, and Zappos story, because that's fascinating, and then also Zappos Adaptive and all that goes into that, and educating us all on just adaptive clothing in general, because you truly are like you're the guy. So in my eyes,
well,
I think in most people's eyes, you're the guy. I know it's hard for you. It's hard for you. Just like, I know, but your team of power ladies, I want to meet them too. They sound rad.
Yeah.
Just thank you
power
for sharing.
Ladies. I like that. I like that nickname.
There's something about when you talk about them, they remind me of Wonder Woman. Like,
they
gotta be.
I mean, it has, with the amount of things that have to get done, you almost have to be Wonder Woman a lot of the times.
Because of Yep.
But it's awesome, and I'm very appreciative of the opportunity to speak to the folks that follow this podcast and follow you. And I hope those folks follow us. And again, if there's feedback, anything that anybody wants to tell us, you can reach us at Zappos Adaptive at zappos.com or across all the social media channels at Zappos Adaptive. Give us your feedback. We want to hear that. And we want to, help with change. And the way we do that is through feedback. So please continue sending that, and shout out to my team. It's not just me, it's everybody. And but yeah, thank you again for having me, Alexis. Appreciate it.
Thank you, my friend. We got to circle back later about our other ideas from yesterday.
Sure,
I'm delighted. Let me know when you're free. But thank you for your time and for sharing all of your experience. And let's go.
Awesome.
Well, namaste.
Have a great rest of your week.
For some reason, I feel like I should go. Just namaste.
Namaste.
Have a great day. Thank you, Derek. You rule. Go Zappos.
Go Zappos.
Bye.
Are you just going to